Hello! Welcome back to the M3DM Tavern. Got some cool stuff planned for y'all today. And a new feature, I'm introducing freebies. So if you guys put in the command !freebie, that will prompt the new STL of the day. I was talking to my husband and I'm like, I have almost 1,000 of these things. Obviously, I appreciate my patrons and I give them the entire vault access, but that doesn't mean that for my lurkers, I can't afford to give you guys a free model every day. So I'm gonna start doing that. And then I was looking in the chat, you guys are talking about the Orc Cowboy and the Dragonborn, or we'll talk about that in a second. And I could not figure out what in the world you guys are talking about. And I'm like, oh, it's my thumbnail. I don't look at my stream thumbnail because I end up replacing it after the stream. So that took me a hot minute to figure out what y'all were talking about. Okay, yes, make myself small. This guy over here, half Orc Cowboy, gunslinger type. This is my Blood Hag. She was fun, that's an original design. This is a demonic druid, so a tiefling druid, kind of an unusual combo. And on the right here, it's actually a turtle with a giant beard, which is a turtle folk. You could absolutely use him as a dragonborn instead, but he is in fact a pirate, so you were correct. It's easier to tell on the whole mini because he's a giant, turtle shell in the back, or I guess tortoise shell? Are turtles more tortoisey or turtley? I'm not sure. Either way, he does have a giant shell on his back, so you would know when you see the 3D miniature. But all right. But yeah, welcome in. Today for the Tavern Keeper's Craft, we're going to be sculpting Odin. So he'll be the counterpart to Thor and make sure that they're somewhat matchy but different. I got some cool polls for you guys to help design him. But first off, let's go ahead and get started. So for today, I have some poses I want to look over. My husband has posed Thor and the Eldritch Foxfolk. So I'm going to get those all buttoned up for our opening hours here. Opening 30 minutes here. But thank you guys so much for being here. Welcome back like always. All right, so I can kind of see what he ended up doing here. Obviously it's gonna need some adjustments and whatnot, but we've got a cool creeping pose here. Okay. I always go to merge visible, make sure everything's on the highest resolution. There we go. And then unify. Very cool. So that's our first pose we have here. So it'll be our action probably. And now let's take a look at the casual that he did. These were both done in Character Creator 4. Oh, I like this. I might put like a swirling shadow effect in her hand. Yeah, these are both cool. I like this one a little bit more, I think, but they're both nice. All right, I did not save my other copy tool, which is totally fine. I'll just open this back up. I'm just doing some arrangements here, making it so I can put all these different poses in the same file. And then I go one step further and I open up my T pose. That way, if anything is too distorted, it's easy for me to adjust. Ooh, Miniblaze is already sharing really cool concept art for Odin. I actually have that one saved. That one's not like super accurate from what I've read, but it's really, really cool. If you guys are curious what I'm talking about, it's in our Discord under live stream references. All right, this will be action, and this will be our casual. Perfect, so we got these two. She looks really short on this side. We'll need to adjust the proportions a touch. It's that giant mane swirl thing. All right, I'm gonna copy the tool now, and finally I'm putting that into my unposed version. Sometimes it's easier to grab my originals and work from there. And by originals, I mean my unposed here. Every now and then maybe a belt will get too distorted, so it's easier for me to just grab the belt here and then paste that into my new pose. All right, there we go. All right, this is all ready to go. I'll go ahead and save it, and then we'll do the same thing for Thor, getting it all packaged up. They were talking about turtle folk and turtles earlier. I wasn't sure if they're turtles or more on the tortoise side. Hindsight says turtle whatever you want him to be in the turtle versus tortoise argument. Flavor is free. I prefer tortoise, but I feel like tortoise is a good argument because they are on land generally. Just Linguals here. Hi, welcome back. I wish I was more complicated, but it depends if I'm in a Ninja Turtle mood or a Master Oogway mood. That's a really fun answer. Alrighty. I'm gonna save over this Eldritch Foxfolk file. And now let's check out Thor. Oh yeah, he looks awesome. For some reason his body lost poly paint, which is really funny. He looks kind of like a ghost. I'm not sure why that one lost it. But he still looks awesome. We have our unposed version right here, but it's not actually real, it's a stamp. So if I clear my canvas, it's no longer there. So we need to do our usual, which is putting everything on the highest resolution, merge visible, and then unify our scene. This is probably going to be the action pose. All right. I'm very entertained by Ghost Thor here. Yeah, I lost poly paint on both of them. It doesn't matter, especially as we're moving in here to our, oh nice, that's a good classic one. Into our 3D printing phase. If you guys are new to 3D printing, it's only in one color as of right now, unfortunately. Unless you have an FDM printer, which then technically you can print in color. This is the model I made a while back. Got like my Eldritch guy. He's a Eldritch Fighter Tiefling. So he's in color and was printed like that, but that was on FDM and it's really tall. So most resin minis are much smaller like this, and it's just a gray little stick, as you guys can tell. No color for that quite yet. All right, let's get this all combined. Perfect. I'm not sure why the action one is so much smaller, but we can easily fix that. There we go. Scaling him up with my 3D gizmo. The 3D gizmo is this funny little orb thing. There we go. Now I'm gonna copy this tool and paste it into my original ZPR where it is unposed. Perfect. There we are. I'm probably not going to re-poly paint the body while I work on the poses, just because there's no need for it. So you guys will have to tolerate Ghost Thor for a bit. There we are. Minivlay says, I think the Foxfolk might need more of a party base. I love the idea that you're describing a fancy base as a party base. I dig it. Hey, Reefer's here. Hey, I was wondering if I could use your models for creating animations for practice. Oh, of course. The topology is busted because it's for, you know, 3D printing, but that means some of them are on the lower poly side, so they should work pretty good. But yeah, I've had people ask me permission for that 100 times. I tell everyone yes, and you're no different. Have as much fun as you want. I put them into Mixamo every now and then when I was just first playing around with animation and stuff. So Mixamo is really fun, free software you can use along with Blender and get some cool results. Yeah, Hindsight mentioned, might have to optimize the top a bit. Never mind, lol. Hindsight, me, and Miniblaze tend to all be on the same page. So if you guys are new here, the three of us kind of share a brain cell, and we tend to say things right before the other one. And it's even funnier because there's a 20-second delay between what's actually happening in my reality and what you guys see. So just keep that in mind. All right, so we got Thor here in these action poses. This is not gonna need much cleanup. Oh, did you guys notice the really cool like lightning scars that I gave him? I'm really happy with that. I'll need to mirror these, I think. Do you guys know if Thor is left-handed or right-handed? I feel like that's something I should know. Taylor says, will the free models have a T or A pose? No. No, I don't share my T poses, just because I don't think anyone would want them. Miniblaze, we are like orange cats. I can vibe with that, yeah. All right, we're almost halfway through opening. I just had like a fun, why thumb and fist? Ask Ricky. Nah, that's probably just a little glitch. I'll fix that. Love that lesson, learned a bit. Very good. All right, I'm gonna ask you guys what you want to see pose. Bam. Taylor mentions, I was just asking because rigging is easier if the model's already in default pose. Yeah, I'm not sure. Some of them, I mean, you're not going to be able to rig unless you have the default, like T pose or A pose. I'm trying to think, like, this one wouldn't be terrible, for example, if you were to grab this one and try to rig him up. But I have some more of them where, like, their hands are on their hip and it's fused to the mesh. So that would definitely not work. Mini Blay says, sounds like Maverick, or Ricky might have taken Maverick out. No snoring. Kind of miss it. Oh no, he's snoring. He's right there. He's doing his thing. And then I put a little vote in what you guys want to see me work on, whether it's Thor or Odin. Mini Blay says, I think we should finish Thor since you're starting Odin. Yeah, that feels really obvious now that you say that. That's a good point. We'll work on Thor as a nice little warm-up. All right, so whenever you pose, it doesn't matter if you are the best posing master of all time, you're gonna have to do some resculpting, no matter what. So you guys were pretty keen to immediately mention like, oh, why is the thumb in his fist or whatever? Yeah, you're gonna have to clean stuff up, especially the more that you move the shoulders and the armpits, you're gonna have all kinds of weirdness right here because armpits are weird and all of this movement, there's a lot going on. Even if you paint it correctly with weights, you're gonna have some distortion. Alrighty. We're gonna throw him right here. What do you guys want for the base on this? Do you guys have any creative base ideas? Otherwise, I'm just gonna give him some rocks and a couple plants. Let me know. Gosh, it's cracking me up that he is pale boy. All right, let's fix his jacked up thumb. So if you grab your move brush and click and drag, it's gonna move the entire mesh. That's not very helpful. If you wanna grab something specific, go to move topological. Similar, but different. That will grab the mesh. See, it grabbed his thumbnail. That's funny. Boop. That will do its best job of trying to grab just one section in the mesh. It's gonna take a little bit of finessing. Why is it being so odd? See how it's doing this like glitchy line thing? Oh, stopped doing it the second I complained about it. There we go. What is that? That's interesting. Anyway, keep on clicking and nudging to grab his thumb. It's in there somewhere. Something else you can do is try to use smart auto masking by clicking on Y, which is your transpose line, and holding down Command. You click and you drag and it should mask smart. There we go. It did its job. It also masked everything else, it looks like. Annoyed blink. Is that all separate? Yep. So for some reason we can take all of his clothes off and his thumb. It's smart masking. It's doing its best. Since it's fighting us, you just keep pivoting. I'm gonna go ahead and split his body off into its own piece. So now you can see over here below me, there's my subtools. Now there are 3. Now that the body is its own piece, it'll be a little easier. That's kind of a cool model though, to grab just his thumb. That is funny though, that it wanted his thumb plus all of his clothes. God knows why. Mini Blaze. Now you'll have to give him a bit of a thumbnail. Oh my lord. Does he not have enough detail? I'm not going to sculpt a brand new thumbnail for him. You guys can just imagine it. Oh shoot, I don't even know what this looks like. What does a fist look like, guys? I'm forgetting. I'm gonna have to complain to Ricky that I had to resculpt this. There we go. Maverick's snoring pretty good now. You guys might be able to hear him. Oh my goodness, this fist is really goofed up. I might just give him a new one entirely. I mean, that's looking a little better, but the whole thing is crooked and weird. Okay. That's looking good and simple. We have a couple clipping issues here, like with his cape. So let's go ahead and move that around too. Mini plays left. Good. All right, we are a little halfway through our opening here, so welcome everyone in, and then we'll move on to the main event today, which is me sculpting Odin. That'll be the meat and potatoes of today's stream. Like always, feel free to share references in our live stream references channel and Discord. I do have quite a few already put up. Mini Blaze, you've shared some like really cool like epic god ones. I'm gonna go more of like the classic Odin where he's like cloaked, kind of more trickster looking, as opposed to epic god. Hey, Volt's here. Hi, welcome back. Greetings, fellow humans. AFK as usual, but happy to be around. Happy to have you here. The reference you just put in, Mini Blaze, with he has one of his ravens on, or both his ravens on his arms, that is one of the exact references I have on my board, so same page. I'm very upset about his goofy thumb, guys. Don't talk about it. Why don't I know what a fist looks like? I've like completely forgotten. Oh, that's a pretty good snore. Can you guys hear my dog yet? It's like I've never seen a hand before in my life. There's supposed to be a bone here somewhere. Oh my gosh, I hate it. Mini Blaze says, I better stop before I wear out the brain cell. That'd be appreciated. I'm trying to use it right now. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to add in I'm gonna bring in like my default sculpted fist that I made a long time ago, because I'm just having the worst time figuring out how this thumb is supposed to fit. I want something real simple, like this. Yeah, so what am I doing that's so wrong? Oh, duh. Yes, I see now. It's just the topology of this mesh right now. It is, oh my goodness. It's supposed to work where if I grab Move Topological and I click and drag, but see how it's like pulling through itself? I don't really know why it's behaving like that. It's being really difficult and annoying. So we're gonna fix it. Make it fit. Does your thumb go past your pointer finger? Look, there's a lot of issues with this hand at this point. We're gonna cut it off and put a new one. Essentially, it's so high poly that it's really difficult to make a change on it. I can't just re-sculpt it like normal. So we're gonna just delete it, my favorite. There, you guys happy? Now he has no hand. And then this really lovely fist I've already sculpted. There you go. It's a lot easier to sculpt something correctly the first time than take something that's already posed and mushed together and try to adjust that. Thank you for the fist and you guys are posting references for me in a live stream wrap. I don't need them, but thank you. I was thinking it was gonna be like an easy fix, and I was like, this is not an easy fix. This is turning into a huge pain in the ass. Bam. We have successfully cut off his hand and put on a new one, and it looks much better. All is well again. Especially looks good right here. All right, his feet are not quite on the same plane. We'll go ahead and adjust that too. I'm gonna mask these and tilt them down just a touch. There we go. Mask pen. Mini Blaze, we are good tavern minions. Yes, yes. Volt says nice. You guys are very good minions. Thanks for being helpful. Alright, right now I'm trying to mask his feet so they look nice. Turning it off perspective. Do we have any ideas for the base? Do we have any Viking-y Norse mythology elements we want to add to the base? Let me know. Because if not, he's just getting a basic nature scene. Alright, his feet are now perfectly flat. Very good. Let's see how this other hand is going now that the other one was such a disaster. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, this is better. Bam. I just need to pull that finger forward just a touch. That thumb is also being a little odd, but it's not nearly as bad as the other one. All right, we're looking pretty good. Crisis averted. I'm a simple artist. I see cloak, I must add wind. I must make it dramatic. Oh, awesome. Thank you for the Odin references, Hindsight. Those are a lot more in line with what I have. Yes, he's got to have the hooded cloak. It's so cool. Mini Blaze, just tell us what you need. I need a cool base. I need to make something interesting that's more than just rocks and a couple plants. Unless they're like very nicely put plants and rocks. Clute says, like a one-eyed Gandalf. Yep, that's going to be Odin pretty much. We're not, no more talking about the hands and the thumb. We have cut his hand off because you guys were right. It was wrong. And it got really chewed up after character creator. We have fixed it. Surgery has been performed. He is successful. He is in recovery and we're going to leave it alone. If I see another reference of a hand in our Discord, I'm going to go insane. Taylor says, ground with lightning sparks coming out of it. Ooh, see, that's the creativity I want to outsource. There we go. Taylor gets confetti, the only person that listened to me when I was asking for the base. Thank you. And surrounding him. Heck yeah. Mini Boy says, I'm looking, but so far I'm getting some Etsy stuff. That sounds like you're just shopping. This is important work right now, Mini Blaze. I need your best effort. Ooh, that's a cool rock that you just added Hindsight. Okay, okay. I spoke too soon. You guys were still cooking. I love that I can outsource creative decisions to my peasants. You guys are the best. All right, what even is this piece I made? Is this supposed to be, does this go all the way around? I don't remember. I made it, so I should remember, but I don't. Nope, does not go all the way around. Okay, that's fine. But right now it doesn't make any sense. So we're gonna split this off and then we're gonna use our move brush. There we go. There's the layering I initially meant for. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, our warm up is finished, but now I'm really attached to this model. I'll ask you guys. Michael says, mo better. Thank you. All right, end that pull. I really want to keep working on this because of that base you guys talked about, but we're gonna have to revisit that during happy hour, okay? Because it is time for the Tavern Keeper's Craft, which is Odin. Man, this Thor is kind of a stud. He looks great. All right, we're gonna save him up and then we're gonna start new. And we're making Odin. Is that his dad? Ooh, I love the bases that you just put in Major Blaze. Very cool. I still want to do the lightning ideas and that stone. Oh, the stone I feel like I just have to do anyways, its own terrain piece entirely. Is that too much work? Mini Blaze also loves the design Hindsight just posted. If you feel like you're missing out, you don't know what's going on, just look in our Discord under livestream references. That's where we're posting all of our ideas and art. All right, so we're gonna work on Odin right now. I feel like I can just make this guy old. No, I gotta start a new scene. I can't shortchange just like that. We gotta do the full process. We must start from the beginning of ZPR so everyone can see this is where it all begins. All right, here's our beginning ZPR. Odin has gone through some changes. Just kidding. He's going to be a man still. Here is my male base mesh. He looks like a very simple, slightly overbuilt office worker. We're gonna transform him into one of the most powerful gods in Norse mythology. Thank you, Mini Blaze. Hindsight posted a Viking runestone. Odin's base will have to have a small tree on it. Okay, now it's becoming a diorama, y'all. I love it. Keep it coming. Bonus lore points if you can work a tiny noose into it. Do tell. What is this noose business about? All right, I have a really important poll for you guys. Mini Blaze, don't be lazy. You're right. You're right. All right. Should Odin's ravens be included on this model? Because I can put them on his arms, right? Their names are Hugin and Munin, I'm pretty sure. And I already have some ravens, so it wouldn't even be a big deal to add them. We made that really nice raven for the Eldritch one, remember? Where I had like a whole meltdown on what a bird looks like. So I have nice ravens we can put in there. I can even put them on the base if we want to, but I just want to know if you guys think that Odin's raven should be included on this piece. Also, some more notes on that about Odin's ravens. I have some notes here. Hugin means thought and Munin means memory. So thought and memory. They fly across the world each day, bringing him news of everything that happens. So they're kind of like his little spies. Oh, Major Blaze has taken... see, you took the brain cell. Now I can't think. It needs ravens on the base and model. Okay, there's only 2 ravens. I can do Hugin on the shoulder and Munin on the runestone. Hindsight shared, that's how Odin discovered runes. He hung himself from the world tree in exchange for knowledge and wisdom, and he got runes, aka magic. And isn't the world tree, isn't that one, that's Yggdrasil? I thought he traded his eye for wisdom and magic. That's why he has one eye. Taylor says, if Thor is allowed to have his hammer, Odin has to have his ravens. Absolutely, that is super solid logic. And then Gungnir is Odin's Mjolnir. Yes, I have his staff referenced here, and I'm going to be sculpting that. Yggdrasil. Is that how you pronounce it? It's like half the letters in there are silent. Yes. Is that how you spell it? My goodness. Okay. All right, we need an old man. Let's get old manning. First, we're going to dress up our lovely Odin. He's going to need a beard, all that good stuff. So if you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Mia, and I make 3D printable models, specifically requests from people that support me on Patreon. So I had a guy who asked for Thor and Odin, so that's why we're sculpting these. If you want to make your own requests, the link's in the description. But what I do with my models here is I have a asset library I draw from. And we're gonna kind of kit bash our character together really quickly. Perfect. And then we'll start to refine it as we go. This is kind of like a fun early start to the process for you guys to watch. It looks a bit ridiculous. It's a fun one. All right, we're gonna put on the key features. 1, he needs a beard. Done. Maybe not this beard, but a beard. So we put that on here. It's a spear, not a staff, FYI. Sounds good. I kind of use them interchangeably, if I'm being totally honest. All right, and then we also need a hood, which I have one here. A lot of this is going to change and develop. You guys are now part of this art journey. It's going to happen over the course of an hour and a half. If you're a lurker, this is a great time to be a lurker because just look up every 30 minutes or so and you'll see something totally different. Hindsight says, he totally can have a staff, but Gungnir is a spear. You know, that's very true. All the references, it's an awfully pointy staff. I tease. You're right. It is definitely a spear. All right, that looks good. We're going to delete everything here. He's not going to have hair because it doesn't show under the hood anyway. Now for his actual clothing, I'm kind of torn between giving him a somewhat regal look or just like dirty robes. Not dirty robes. We'll see. Oh, Mortal Dog shared the asymmetry of the ravens on his shoulders. Yeah, that looks really cool. And hello, Monkey. Hello, Reaper. Yeah, I like that shape a lot better than the beard that I did. Which, again, we just kit bashed in. Don't you worry. Alrighty, now we're looking at this here. See if there's any pieces I want to give. Should we give him a cloak? I'm not going to make him a pole. He will not be bare-chested. He will be covered. Tits in for this one. Okay. Where is... I'm toying with the idea of having a cape. I just really like capes. Alright guys, I think he's done. My new version is going to be a pin-up now. Thank you. Alright, where should I add any of these? I don't think so. Thinking. I'm cooking. If there's any pieces I want to grab. I don't think so. This I will grab and put in here, this scarf. Funny enough, this is a scarf that I made for, I think it was Monkey's request a while back, that Tinker Forge. A lot of this is not going to be visible and I'm not going to have the lower part of the scarf, but I just think it'd be nice to have some fabric. All right, deleting this, going into another asset library. I'm not sure if his feet are even going to be visible, but if they are, we need to give him some sort of shoes. Cracks me up, I'm just leaving him in his boxers. He will have real clothes shortly. Right now we're in that kind of kit bashing phase. We're just throwing stuff on the model and deciding what version of Odin we want to create today. I've seen depictions where he looks very godly and powerful, and other ones where he looks kind of just like an unassuming old man. I'm a big fan of belts like this, looped on itself. I swear it's not intentional. It looks spiteful at this point that I refuse to give him proper clothes. They're coming, they're coming. Okay. A helmet or just the hood? We're gonna do a hood. I'm not gonna do a helmet for him. I think the hood suits Odin more. And then 100% of you have voted for Yugen and Munin, his ravens. Very good. He's good just there, just an old man in boot, capes, and undies, right? I love it. Something about this inexplicably reminds me of my uncle, and I will not elaborate. Alright, y'all, we're gonna create his, like, a shirt tunic here. The way you create clothes in ZBrush is you mask, extract, make sure you click accept. We Z-remesh a few times for some nicer, cleaner topology. And as we start creating these shapes, this is where the fun really starts to happen. I do want to give him some sleeves. Same kind of process. go ahead and mask, extract, Z-remesh, and just a small inflate here. I also like to mask the underside to make for quick, easy, long sleeves. This is all happening pretty darn quick, so if you're trying to learn ZBrush and you're like, wow, what the heck is happening? Ask. I'm more than happy to repeat steps or explain them a little slower. For the most part, my peasants just want to see art happen, so we are doing the art. Alright, should we give him pants and a cloak? Or should we just do like long robes? Z-remesh a few times. We have a very odd thing going on here. Don't worry about it, I'm working on it. No, just moved my whole canvas. How is that happening? That was odd. Look at this funny little line we have here now. Alright, ZBrush, that's fine. ZBrush does not like to be rushed. ZBrush is the name of the software I'm using. If you click around too quickly, it gets really upset. Alright, I'm going to delete his boxers. It is time. He does not need modesty garments any longer. He finally has clothes. Alright. Taylor says, reminds me of my dad. Beautiful. I'm glad we're all thinking of our uncles and dads and respective fatherly figures. Alright, we're thinking robes. Mini Blaze, what does Z-remesh do? Fantastic question. Let me show you. You guys are getting a little mini lesson on Z-remesher right now. Alright. If you hold down Shift and F, it brings up the wireframe. Your mesh is made of polygons, which just means that it's made of a bunch of shapes. So as you can see, as I move stuff around, it's stretching these shapes, right? If I subdivide, let's do Dynamesh. Ugly. If I Dynamesh right here, and let's say we're gonna add some lines, here we go. See how this topology, now we're getting a little rougher and stuff, and what if I decide, oh, I really wish that I could use my topology, then use a Z modeler brush, maybe add some poly loops. I don't really have a whole lot of control over what's going on here because my topology is so goofy and weird. See what I mean? Like, that's not very helpful. I can clean this up by using Z-remesher. So what it's going to do, it's going to try to lay even quads all over it. Unlike Dynamesh, which really just tries to respect what details or deformations you've done. So each time I click Z-remesher, you'll notice it's going to make the shape simpler, but also cleaner. See how nice this is? So now if I want to do like a poly loop here, we're getting a much cleaner, more workable result. So yeah, Z-remesher is a quick way to take your mesh and change it into smoother, usually more even quads. You can kind of dictate what it does based on some parameters here, like there's half and same. If you click on the button same, it tries to maintain your poly count. Half, it halves your poly count. It's more of a suggestion. At the end of the day, Z-remesher is going to do what Z-remesher wants to do, but you can give it suggestions and guidelines it will try to follow. It's a very, very cool tool. That is kind of just the overall quick synopsis of it. All right, Maybelline says, nice, thanks. You're welcome. All right, let's go ahead and continue here. We have our main pieces here, and now I'm going to come over with my inflate brush to make sure the clothing fits just a bit better. All right, we are having a special moment in the Taverb right now. Pretty much everyone agrees to have ravens on the model, so we're doing it. I'm going to end that poll right now and get a new one going. Because I'm going to work on his face soon, and I need to know what you guys want for his expression. We've got a lot of options we can do here. What expression should Odin have? Stern and commanding. So pretty much looking a little crabby. Battle ready, fierce and determined. This is going to look maybe even slightly joyful, you know what I mean? Like, he's super powerful. I imagine battle is fun for him. Or mysterious with a sly, knowing smirk. Let me know what you guys are thinking, or if you want a different option entirely. Perfect. All right, let's start getting some color on here. We're gonna go with kind of like a darker navy-ish blue. You'll notice that even when I'm grabbing blues and grays, even though I'm way over on the left side of the color wheel here, I will still change it to a blue because I don't want like a warm greenish undertone. I actually don't mind that right there. But the point is that even if there are blue grays, there's yellow grays, there's all kinds of different undertones to your colors. Keep that in mind when you're color picking. Hindsight says Thor was stern and commanding. Odin was older, wiser, knows things. I agree. Oh, and then hey, some guy obsessed with cats. What a good username. Hey, and welcome. Hello there. Have you tried sculpting in Blender? If so, how do you think it compares to sculpting in ZBrush? When it comes to high poly sculpting and stuff that I'm doing, ZBrush just blows Blender out of the water. I frequently joke that I'm a Blender snob. I just don't like it. It doesn't mean it's on awesome software. It just didn't click with me. And I wish it did, because Blender is free. But I just didn't like it. That's my short answer. But feel free to ask more questions about Blender. I'm sorry if that answer isn't super satisfying. But some answers are just short and simple, you know? And that's kind of my answer. All right, we have a little basic color scheme going on here. And we'll need to continue to improve this to be more interesting. I'm thinking of giving him like a side satchel or pouch. Let's see. So for most people that watch my streams regularly, I shorten up their name. But some guy obsessed with cats is so good. I'm either going to call you Catst or some guy. Some guy is funny. I'll call you that. Some guy says nice. Thanks. You're very welcome. All right, I want to give him a side pouch. The easiest way to do this is using Curve Strap Snap. This is a special brush within ZBrush that allows you to kind of use some modeling techniques. See, you now have this mesh that you can move around. It's really cool. The dotted line you have here is the line that the curve brush is acting upon. So I can change this type of brush into like vines, flowers. I could do a bunch of eyeballs. You can tell it whatever you want. In this case, each section is becoming just a simple rectangle, which I can use for belts. Another cool thing about it is if you click and drag and then hold shift, it's going to try and wrap your object. See, now it goes all the way around. This works with varying success. The curve brush is notoriously finicky, so just keep that in mind. All right, I now have a belt here. We're gonna make it a little wider. And we'll add some details, buckles, all that good stuff later on. What are we thinking about this cape? Should it be fur? All right, his sleeves are way too poofy. Let's go ahead and calm these down. I want them to be long and dramatic, but not so poofy. I think it's funny I have a poll right now asking about his expression when I'm probably going to cover most of his face with a hood. It's fine. Let's go ahead and add in those ravens. I wonder if I saved my fancy ravens. I'm not sure. All right, I'm going to open up one of my master tools here, just called items. I have a couple older ravens I had made. I might replace them with my fancier ones later. All right, that's definitely not a raven, that's a hawk. This looks more like a crow. It's raven-y. There's some good stuff happening here. All right, there's gonna be 2 of these. For now, I'm just gonna put him on, just put one on his shoulder as a reminder to myself to incorporate the other one later. I could even duplicate and move it down here, just for right now. I don't normally do this, but maybe I'll start designing my models here with a base on them. That might make it easier for people that are just passing by the stream to connect that these are going to be 3D printable. Having a revelation in my own mind where I'm like, I should have been doing this all along, shouldn't I? And then we can design the base custom to every single model to complement it. Mind-blowing. Yep, this is definitely a thing that I should have been doing. It's fine. Alrighty. Let's lighten up the ravens a touch. There's a lot of gray going on here. If you guys can think of some other better colors for me to incorporate, let me know. Alright, this has come together fairly quickly. I'm happy with how cool this is going to look. If you have any pose ideas, also let me know, because that will be the next step once we get him all detailed. Some guy says, I know nothing about the lore, but your sculpting process is satisfying. Thank you. I've been doing it for about 6 years now, so having a good time. Mini Blaze says, don't forget the eye patch. Ah, yes, he will have one eye, but I don't know if he has an eye patch. Some of them I see eye patch, some of them I don't. Mini Blaze says to some guy, we have seen her make a creature from a sphere. Aw, are you bragging about me to a stranger? I love it. Mini Blaze is awesome. She's been in my streams for a long time. We don't know each other in real life, but sometimes it seems like we do. Some guy says, what? What video? Yeah, so I have all of my previous live streams on my YouTube channel. Let me go ahead and link that for you. I made a Hodag cryptid. It's pretty much like a lizard monster. It's a cryptid that's native, if it's real, to Wisconsin and Rhinelander. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and link that for you. I can't get over your username. God, that's so fun. I also love cats, so I'm very biased. All right, but yeah, that's one of my live streams. If you subscribe to my channel, you can see I have tons and tons of recorded live streams. You can see that process. Yeah. Hindsight is a nice quote here. Look upon my face and know the sacrifice I made to bring magic to the world. That's beautiful. Yes, no eye patch, but we will have no eye. He's not ashamed of no missing eye. And the monkey has a pose idea, holding a staff, sphere, but yeah, it'll be his Gungnir, in one hand, while the other arm reaching out and the raven perch on his arm. Oh, cool. So kind of like this, like he has his raven right here, and then like staff. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. It's still making me smile, hindsight. He's not ashamed, no missing eye. This is true. Is it scarred or just scooped out? All right, we need to start working on his face. And then we have a really cool beard example that was given to us that I like much more than this funny beard we have right now. It's fine, but I can do better. Some guy says, I actually get your videos on my For You page a lot. Really? Me? Cool. You should watch them. I really haven't been live streaming regularly. That's more of a recent thing. I've always enjoyed doing it, but it's kind of tricky to keep it consistent. I now have a much more structured, like show-like format that I do, and that's been a lot of fun. It helps that I have the best peasants here, and they really kind of keep me motivated and happy. Again, I've been making models for over 6 years now, and most of like my business comes from Patreon. That's where people give requests, actually pay me money so I can keep lights on, buy a house, all this cool stuff. But streaming has kind of won over my heart recently. It's cool to be able to interact with you guys so directly and share my creative process. I also really like explaining stuff. So I also teach people how to use ZBrush, so unsurprisingly, I enjoy, teaching and explaining stuff, but I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do that live without slowing down like my process, but I've been doing a pretty good job of keeping both things going. So that being said, especially, any questions you have about the process, ask away. I'm absolutely an open book. All right, right now we're kind of drafting this beard shape here. I'm kind of cutting up this mesh here, and I'm using Dynamesh to really quickly restructure it. Pretty soon here, I'll need to change the actual structure of his face because he's looking very middle-aged right now instead of ancient and wise. Monkey says, peasants rejoice. What a nice phrase. Hindsight says, sometimes we slow you down, sometimes we speed you up. Comes out in the wash. I agree. It all pans out. Alright, how many times do you need to tell it that this raven needs to be black? Stop forgetting, ZBrush. Thank you, thank you. I'm looking pretty carefully at this reference that Mortal Dog, which is so fire on stream, has shared in our Discord. Speaking of, if you guys are new and you're already on Discord, join my server. We have another whole different discussion going on there where we have all of our references and creative ideas being shared. If you need an invite to Discord, you can just tell the bot to give it to you by doing !Discord. The bot is a new thing I've added to my streams, and I am more proud of it than I should be. Alright, this is gonna pan up pretty high on his face. Using move and backface mask, add a little bit more volume here. I don't know if I'm liking the 2-strand beard as much, but I'm working on it. Mini Blaze, do you want to braid that? I think so. What do you guys think? I could do like a really loose braid. I have a really cool braid brush. It's from Bad King, which doesn't exist anymore, but there are a lot of free braid brushes online. Yeah, I want like a loose braid, kind of like this. I can embed on here. Gosh, I don't love that either. I'm so excited for this model to come together. I'm feeling a little impatient. I need to slow my roll. It's only been like 30 minutes on the stream. Kick back, enjoy the process. And thank you guys for being here. Seriously, I never take it for granted. The fact that I always have people watching my streams is an absolute delight. The fact that there's so many of you, we have like more than 10 people that wouldn't even fit in my studio, is just amazing. I really appreciate having you guys here. Leave the front how it is and have the braids come off his jaw. Kind of like this. Yeah. I'll work with that a little bit more later. I need to fix his face, y'all. All right. We're gonna delete one of his eyes, like so. There we go. Adding a little bit of poly paint before I come in here and start sculpting old face. Okay. All right, let's start making him look old. So a fun fact about aging is that cartilage on your face, such as your nose and your ears, do not stop growing. So that's why whenever you're making someone look older, you want to give them a larger nose, usually larger ears. So think when you're sculpting a baby, you want that like little button nose. You want the exact opposite when you're sculpting an older face. You'll also notice I have the resolution pretty low here. That's why he's looking kind of pixelated. It's easier to work with fewer polys if you're making large changes. If you have it really high poly, like at 1,000,000 points here and do all the sculptural changes, it comes out looking a little lumpy. I will go back and forth between the two as I add finer details such as wrinkles. That's like when secondary forms come in. But for now, we're doing big changes, making his nose much larger. I'm just using the move brush for all of this. We're gonna push his brow forward. I'm also gonna hide his eyebrows so I can really focus on the actual forms of his face. I'm gonna come in with my clay brush and start building up his cheekbones. Another thing is as you get older is you lose a lot of fat on your face. So it's really common that your cheeks be more sucked in and you lose fat right here by your temples. It's actually a really common spot for filler on women. All right, that's looking better. All right, we have adjusted his facial structure to look older, but he doesn't have any wrinkles, so we need to fix that. I'm gonna inflate his nose just a touch. Oh, also making the lips thinner will give it older appearance. I can come in here with my pinch brush and accomplish that. Oh, what expression? You guys pick stern and commanding. Okay, I'll have him look severe. Oh, Just Lingual said, I made a bot for my D&D campaign that rolls normally but has a 1 out of 100 chance of personally scorning or liking a player, therefore giving advantage or disadvantage with a compliment or insult. That's beautiful. I absolutely love that. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, thank you, Hindsight, for reposting that. Yeah, repost spam, 100% welcome in our Discord, especially in the live stream references, because I'm going to forget. So just keep posting your best ideas. I like the asymmetry of the beard that you shared there, Hindsight. I'm going to make that one instead. Very cool. Oh yeah, the eye's missing. We can mirror the model later. No worries, no worries. And there's not going to be a scar or anything, is there? It's just going to be open eye. Should I close his eye? We can easily do that. We can do a little masky mask. And just whoop. That looks horrifying. Let me know about this eyeball situation, y'all. I don't think there's going to be a scar, but I can add a scar. All right, to add wrinkles, it's a combination of adding creases and more volume to the face at the same time. Let's go ahead and block. Okay, we're gonna hide. This raven needs to go away. Okay. I'm going to turn on Lazy Mouse, which kind of stabilizes any shake in my hand. And then we're gonna start carving out where these wrinkles will go. There we go. I'm going pretty heavy-handed and dramatic here, partly because this is going to be 3D printed. So I really want these features to be really, really prominent and easy to paint because I need a wash to catch most of these features. Once they're 3D printed, mini size, a lot of this is not going to be super visible. But I detail my models anyway. 1, because it brings me joy. And 2, I do have a fair amount of people that support me on Patreon that don't even play tabletop games. They just print my stuff as like statues. More like this. So all the more reason to go nuts with the detail because someone's going to see it. A scar gives more character, but don't decide until you finish aging him. I agree. I like the idea of an eye patch as well, Just Lingual said. I agree. I really like what Hindsight said earlier. Like he had no problem with having a missing eye, so he probably wouldn't hide that. Oh, I forgot to do these nasolabial wrinkle folds. Yes. can really bring that brow forward. And then let's go ahead and show the eyebrows again and start incorporating them into his face. I'm a big fan of large, fluffy, dramatic eyebrows. We're gonna grab this move brush and start pulling off some texture and shape here. Just make it a little more interesting to look at. And then heavy set. And eyebrows disappeared. Come back. You guys pick stern and commanding, so I'm gonna keep that in mind as I continue to work on the face here. Beautiful. All right, I think we've aged him up quite a bit versus just our little Chad here. Would he have sharper cheekbones? Probably. I'm kind of just doing it in like phases so he doesn't look like a Skeletor right away. Ooh, gnarly what you just shared. Hindsight. I do appreciate putting the spoiler tag for people that are squeamish. Ew. That's cool. I might do that. Also, no hood goes better with stern and commanding. That's true, but it's Odin. I'm gonna do a hood. It keeps him looking spooky. I like this. He looks a little more on the annoyed side. It is funny that his face has been aged and I'm leaving the rest of it perfectly smooth and young. I'm doing that because you're not gonna see it, so I'm not gonna worry about it. All right, I'm coming with my clay brush here and I am starting to add in some more volume that is kind of that lumpy texture I said I was avoiding earlier. It's okay, because now it's intentional. We're gonna crease his eyelids a bit heavier. I don't love the shape here. We need to add volume here. So there's a bit of a natural crease. Yes, that's better. I'm gonna use move and back face mask to build up this eyelid because it's getting really thin. Be careful about your eyelids. You don't want them getting too thin. I'm saying that to artists, not like in real life. Watch your eyelids, kids. Okay. That's looking better. It's a lot of really small, gentle changes, but you just have to know what you're trying to accomplish. There we go. That's better. I didn't realize how much his ears are going to be visible. I must age his ears. Remember, your ears and your nose continue to grow as you get older, so they'll be much larger on an older character. There we go. I'm going to poly paint him a little different because he has like this youthful red nose going on. You wouldn't have that. I don't want to just straight up jaundice him, but we need to adjust the color scheme here, just a touch. That's better. Would even thicker eyebrows be more commanding? The more brow, the stronger the power? Very nice, just lingual. And then yeah, Mini-Blaze mentions wrinkles on the forehead. I would, but they're not going to be visible. Even the eyebrows are going to be barely visible. But I do think even larger eyebrows that sit even lower would be good. He's looking more annoyed, I think, than stern and commanding, but yeah, what's the difference? All right, he's starting to look a lot different. Oh, this is cool. And then I want to get some more work done on this beard. Hindsight shared a really lovely asymmetrical beard in our Discord, and I really want to work on that before I forget. Also, welcome Orb to our Discord. I'm assuming you're from the live stream. Not sure which one of y'all are Orb, but hello. All right, back to live stream references. All right, I'm pulling up that beard. Let's get to work on that. The face is still gonna have changes come to it, but I don't like to be stuck on any one area for too long, especially when there's so much work to be done. I say as I start to work more on the face. I'm going to adjust my lighting scene a bit here, increasing ambient occlusion and doing my favorite. Oh, that's a fun look. Not quite what we're doing today, but really cool all the same. Going in with a bit of a more of a dramatic lighting effect. Where do I want you? That's better. I need to add a lighter base here, just so we have some contrast. There we are. Maybe I can do white. I could see him like a snowy landscape, yeah? Mini Blade says, oh, that is hidden, but we will all know. Yes, all 13 of you. I'm not too worried about it. All right, let's get some more work done on this beard. Really just want to make sure I add at least one more braid so I can have this really cool asymmetrical detail going on. I don't know, I never thought of making a beard asymmetrical. Very good. I have a really bad habit when I work and I'm focused. I do this. And I look like mad when I work. It's something I've actively worked on live streaming to, I even think, I'm like, soften your face. Don't look so angry. It's just what I do when I'm focused. My husband does the same thing. If you would see us both working in a room, you would assume we had a huge fight because we're both sitting at our computer just like, nothing's wrong. It's just my face. I'm going to Dynamesh this. We're going to lose a lot of the texture that I have from the braiding, but I just don't like it. So I want to change it. Instead of having it short, we're going to follow a little more closely the reference Hindsight provided. It's more of this flat thing going on. I need to be careful not to make him look too much like Three Musketeers-y, but I like that beard more. I will make sure that these braids in the beard actually connect something that makes sense. But for now, we're just in this little block out stage, so don't you worry. All right, I'm gonna merge down all the aspects of the beard because I want the entire thing just to be longer. So what I'm doing right now is I'm polygrouping each piece. That's what you're seeing when you see these different colors popping up. The color pops up when I select it. And then I click Control W to change the polygroup. So that way when I merge them down, you're gonna see more colors pop up. See? We now have two colors here, which is cool because I can hold down Command Shift and I can quickly click on different aspects while still being the same subtool. You might be wondering, Mia, couldn't you do that with folders? Yes, I could. I just don't use folders. I'm a heathen. I just use lots of subtools with layered polygroups. So yes. Which is funny because I complained that there weren't folders in ZBrush for the longest time, and then I finally got them, and I still don't use them. There we go. The longer beard looks better. Hindsight says, Mia, I have the same thing. When I'm in deep in focus or thought, the resting dick face is real. I've only heard resting bitch face. That's beautiful. My son has totally inherited it as well. Isn't your son really young too? That's so funny to think of like this little boy like... Odin, the final musketeer. I fixed it. No, I really haven't. This beard still does look musketeer-y. I kind of like it though. He looks wise. There, that's better, isn't it? I'm loving the asymmetrical beard though. Hindsight 6. He's been doing it since the day he was born. That's beautiful. That's a strong gene. Did your dad do it too, or grandpa or someone? How fun. Alright guys, this robe's really boring. What are we gonna do to make it not boring? No idea. So it started with you. What a nice trend. Oh, I love how this is looking though. How cool. All right, where are we at? We are currently an hour into the live stream. 30 minutes of that was our warm up. So I'm pretty proud of this for 45 minutes. Oh, interesting. Hindsight shared something cool in the Discord saying, not sure about this idea, but a spin could be a blindfold with a runic third eye on it. I mean, he said up one eye. Blindfold, it's a really cool approach to that. I'll think about it. Mini Blay says, won't show on the print, but Norse lettering. It absolutely would show on the print. We can do that. I could add that to the base. I could add that to his tabard here. Y'all really underestimate 3D printers. They're so cool. They've come so far. If his the little braids in his mustache are gonna print, we can do some lettering for sure. Oh, I'm really happy with this, guys. This is cool. Okay, my dog is like super loud snoring. I'm certain you guys can hear it now. All right, I'm gonna duplicate this strap, make it so there's two, and then add some sort of traveling pouch. I'm not really sure how many accessories this guy would have. Accessories. Odin accessories. How nice. Let's go with something really simple. Oh, I saw that Bamboo Labs released or announced their new printer. I haven't read about it yet, but I've heard it's really cool. All right, this is starting to look a little more interesting. What are some other ways I can layer this and do a good job? Oh, I'm looking at my reference here, and I have a more asymmetrical hood, and it looks better than what I have. Let's see if I can create that without goofing it up. Hoods are so sensitive, guys. I think it'd be cool if the hood kind of lifted up a little bit to show the missing eye. Just Lingual says, runic lettering on the tabard or a sash would be sick. I'll think about it. Mini Blaze talking about Bamboo Labs. They're dropping a lot right now. Are they? I thought it was just the one new printer, but it makes sense that they would kind of combine a bunch of things at the same time. He's got a little bit of cone head thing going on. Let's fix that. All right, I'm a big fan of the asymmetrical hood. That looks much better. Asymmetrical everything, when in doubt. All right, his nose needs to be bigger, but not that much bigger. There we go. Very cool. What about a breastplate? You can still have the robes in the sleeves. I've thought about putting something like a second shirt. Instead of a breastplate, oh, he's naked. Instead of a breastplate, I was thinking maybe that reference you shared earlier where he has that red and purple shirt thing going on. Kind of looks like this. Oh, no, it's not happening. It's going to happen. Just give me a moment. ZBrush really wants Odin to have like a beer belly and it's trying to fix it. It's like a separate layered shirt. I'm really putting it on too low for it to work though. It looked kind of like this extra fabric thing. And then we can add maybe another layer here to this piece as well. I'm kind of in that experimental stage where we're just adding stuff. So if you see something you don't like, do not panic. We're just experimenting. I'm usually a fan of more is more, so I like lots and lots of layers. Because even though he's just in robes, I don't want him to look totally unassuming. There needs to be an air of great power about him still. I posted a link in 3D printing if you want to see what I thought about. Oh, for the hood, lowering it all the way. That's not a cool thing. Okay. Oh, if you want to see what I thought about the H2D, this is about bamboo. Okay, I was connecting you said that at the same time I saw Hindsight's reference. Gotcha. Yeah, an FDM support. Oh, very cool. Thank you for sharing that, both of you. All right, we're almost halfway through the Tavern Keeper's Craft, which is our main meat and potatoes of the stream. Today I am sculpting Odin. We started with this guy over here, kind of typical Chad office worker vibe, and we've created Odin from that. It's been a blast. Thank you guys so much for voting in the polls too. So far, our poll right now is about his expression. Stern and commanding is in the lead, with mysterious and sly smirk somewhat behind it. I'm gonna go ahead and end that poll because I'm happy with the results there, and put in everything we've done so far. There we go. Because despite being a mighty war god, Odin is known for like disguise and trickery, which is why I'm really happy with the robes and the hood, all of those aspects. The main things I want to make sure he has here is one eye, a long beard, heavy cloak, and I'm going to be sculpting or 3D modeling his spear or Gungnir. It's probably about time to start working on that spear. I'm going to add another layer on this side. I'll probably add some runes, some cool stuff inscribed here. Let's go back to blue for that one. Very cool. This is cool. Hindsight says, Odin's best weapon is his intelligence. He's the general, not the infantry. He can throw down, but he's not the muscle of the family. That makes sense. That's why I didn't make him as much of a beefcake as Thor. Though that was very fun. I'm feeling really excited about this model. I think it's coming out just fantastic. I was wanting a model that kind of came together easier. I've had a few lately here that have been fighting me. Me fighting me, I guess. Right now I'm adding a little bit of poly paint here and there, kind of like some ambient occlusion effect. I'm mostly just putting off modeling the sphere. I should do that. Well, first I'll do my due diligence and see if I have any spheres that look remotely similar, and let's see if we can iterate from that. These are all the weapons I've made. I don't really think any of these are gonna work. These are cool and very Viking-esque, but he does not have an axe or a hammer. I do have some spears here. I might take this one and start modifying that. Yeah, I can do that. Thinking. Really, it's pretty simple, the shape here, and then it's the standout part is the top, you know, the top, the pointy part. The pointy part of the spear. That's what I need to model. It's a very distinct shape. All right, let's go ahead and do that. For now, I'm just gonna throw in this really basic spear. Having another glance at these shapes. Yeah, nothing I can use. Delete. Making this substantially wider so it's not a nightmare to print. Mini Blythe mentions there's several different types of spears, absolutely, but there is a specific one for Odin, Gungnir, which has a specific topped pointy part. Kind of looks like this, the centerpiece, but there's more to it than that. See if I can kind of draft, kind of kit bash something here. Looks more like this, and then it gets longer. I'm looking at my reference off to the side. And then we have some other interesting bits that are fanned off the sides. This is a pretty rough mock-up, but if it gets the job done, then I'm happy with it. Looks more or less like this. Either way, that looks pretty fun. Minus these little overlapping, intersecting geometry, which I can just smooth out. It has a like a really nice bold gold color. Let's go ahead and poly paint that. Yeah, something kind of like that. Gonna make this wider, a little more substantial looking. Whole thing smaller, and then this topping part, It's cool, but it's supposed to be a little closer together. A bit more pointy, if you will. I'm gonna modify a touch here just to make sure it's really easy to print. So I'll probably have these points touch the model. As few little fragile bits as possible. Looks kind of like a spider right now. Looks like a drone, a little bit. It does look very Lolth-esque. Here. This is what you put in Major Blaze, Odin Sphere Gungnir. That's like someone's mock-up. That's not really what I've seen in most people's renditions. The more traditional one looks like this. I know it's really small on the screen, but that's more so what I'm looking over. I found this shape in a couple different places. This as well, though, like that big flat blade, which is closer to the one that you shared. Either way, pretty cool, pretty fun. I like it. I might leave that where it's at for right now. You can kind of see where I got some of these shapes here and like the ornateness of it. I might leave it alone for a moment. Got a cool thing going though. All right, what's the next step of this? I kind of like to cycle throughout the entire design. So I'm trying to think of what to work on next. Maybe we can add some stuff to the base. Put in my little rock trio, which I've been getting way too much use out of recently. There they are. I'm attached to the idea of having his base be on the snowier side. And then I can use this rock here to put one of the ravens on. Oh, and that big rune stone we were talking about earlier too. Thinking about that. This is a pretty good, innocent, simple shape I can use to carve some runes on. That'd be cool. Ooh, I like those blade ideas way better. Those are cool. Takes kind of like the rough concepting I have here blocked out and then fleshes it out a lot more. Those are cool. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys are in our Discord, Hindsight just shared something. There's 17 iterations. I'd love if you guys could decide and pick which one you want me to create. I'm thinking 10 is one of my favorites, because 10 looks like it has a small tree inside of it, which reminds me of Idrisil. I'm thinking 10. Go into our Discord, look at the live stream references. Let me know what you think. In the meantime, let's look at some runes. Do I not have my rune brush anymore? Sad. I'll have to find that later. It's called something, I just don't remember what it's called. Words. No. Okay, I'll have to look at that later. ZBrush. Brushes and alphas. Oh, I would have put it under decorations. Yes. I'll have to revisit that. Not a problem. Hindsight says 10 was my top pick. Stop being creepy, Mia. We're just sharing the same brain cell. I'm telling you, me, and Mini Blades, we just take turns. Maybe you picked it first, you passed it off to me. That is a little uncanny that out of 17 similar-ish designs, we both zeroed in on the same one as a favorite. That makes me very happy. Maybe today for happy hour, I will model that blade top, because it deserves some time. Yeah. I put this large runestone back here. And then kind of have these just as little decorations, nice and simple. Grab my Move Topological brush to move them around. I like the little gradient moving up. Sweet, we now have some rocks. Now let's take this snow here and make it look a little nicer. The fact that it's perfectly white is offsetting, so let's make it a bit dimmer. And now I'm gonna come in with my rake brush, probably. Maybe I'll do, I'm trying to get like a snow texture here that's pretty light. So to do that, I'm probably just gonna walk in some really simple textures and swirls. I want the base to be really flat still, so if you print it separately, it's easy to include. There we go. Now add some more snow around the rocks. There we go. All right, looking really good. Excuse me. All right. We're talking more about these references. We're between 8 and 10. If you think you're missing out, look at our live stream ref on Discord. Okay. Hindsight, 8 has the tined effect you have going, and 6 has some wolf head shapes, but 10 is my pick. Yes, yes, I agree. Just lingual, 10 is great. Maybe altered with just a little tine action from 8. What does that mean? You guys both know what the word tine means. I do not. Is it tine? Teen? It should be tine because there's an E at the end. It makes the vowel long. A prong or sharp point, such as the fork or antler. Okay. Time. Very good. I am saying it right. Okay, I've never heard that word before. I learned something new today. I like it. Yeah, I like 10, and then maybe grabbing a couple of the prongs, tines, from 8. Okay, I can do something like that. Very cool. Thank you, guys. What are we thinking about overall, like, outfit here? And layering, is it roby enough? Are we missing some stuff? Do we want more pouches? Let me know. Pitchforks have tines. Yes, that makes sense. Pitchforks, tridents. I have not saved. Let's do that. Not the end of the world because I quick save every 3 minutes. But I should still do that. Perfect. Thank you guys for all your creative input. It really makes my job easier and more fun. Hindsight says, I like the shaft on 5. Just a rune carved branch, twig of Yggdrasil. Mini Blaze agrees. Yeah, I think I like the one in 8 better than what we have now. Oh, same. This would just like copy pasted. It's the same blade, just over and over and over again. But I do like the shape, and because you guys even said that about both, I think I gotta save it though, right? Because if I paint this like purpley, like bam, Spider Queen. Like it's so cool right away. So we are gonna save this. Kind of the concept that maybe we'll develop some other time. We'll call it Spider Spear, because I'm a big fan of alliteration. Spider Spear. Very cool. Maybe a larger buckle to add some weight to the design. Yes, yes, what a fantastic idea. I have a bunch of bucklets for you to choose from. All right, here we go. They're all up here. I know you guys can't see all of them, but pretty much. If any of these stand out to you, let me know. I'm gonna leave it up for a little bit. But in the meantime, as I wait, I'm gonna just throw some on here. That one's boring. But I agree that this buckle is too boring. Let's do this one. And just make it a bit more substantial. I even like how you mentioned that, like adding weight to the design. That makes a lot of sense. Oh, Maverick. What are we thinking? Buckles on the pouch straps. Yes, I can do that too. Doesn't really matter, but supposedly the proper pronunciation for... I think you probably explained how to pronounce like Yggdrasil, but it did not show up. There we go. What about 4, guys? It's different. 1, 2, 3. This one? The brain shell is working. Yeah, it really is. Oh my goodness. That's wild. Oh my goodness. It's even funnier because, again, there's a 20-second delay between the stream and you know, reality. So the fact that we're still picking the same things is even crazier. 4 is good. Beautiful. I think I have it flipped the wrong way though. I think I'm supposed to have it flipped like this. I'm forgetting how a belt works. It has to be this way. Yes. And then adding little belts or bucklets on these as well. These ones are a lot easier to figure out, like, oh, is it going in the right direction? It's like, yes. When it's all twisted on itself, I kind of lose track. All right, these are missing that little piece that will weave through. I can add that later. That's nice. I like it. Depends if he's left or right-handed. You're not wrong. Let's go ahead and add some trim to these belts. Make them look a little more substantial. To do that, I'm going to add 2 edge loops on the side. 1, come on, 2. Same thing here. And instead of using Q-mesh, we're going to use extrude. Q-mesh tries to get really smart and like snap to different points, and we don't want smart decisions made for us. We want to just do it ourselves. There we go. Just makes the belts look a little more substantial. I'll fix that clipping error right there. Beautiful. Looking good. You need some sort of visible clip on the pouch. Maybe. That one I'm less excited about. I'm gonna start detailing the clothing. All right, I'm gonna need to smooth this out a little bit. Be careful with the amount of thickness, because it's being a little silly here where the material is extruding through itself. Let's make that sleeve a little wider, and that should prevent the problem somewhat. Stop being ridiculous. I can mask by features, invert the mask, and then polish by features. That usually helps. There we go. There we go. All right, now that we have that, let's come in and add some fabric folds. I like to use a standard brush for this. I'll add some wear and tear to his clothing later. I think that'll be a really nice touch. All right, got one thing kind of blocked out here. Let's just keep it going. Topology is a little insane here, so let's go ahead and lower this point so when I do close holes, we don't have that weird sharp point happening. And then I can take this, divide a few times. I'm not too worried about the ends because I can handle how that intersects with the base later. We're gonna do some really simple pipe folds, kind of just striped all the way around. Keep it simple, keep it readable. There we go. It's gonna start coming together pretty quickly. So if you haven't looked up in a bit, now is a good time to kind of see how this model is starting to come together. I ended up liking this weird little extra layer pouch. I don't really know what it's supposed to be, but I like it. Yeah, once I decide, like, okay, I'm happy with the design, I just, boop, finish it. This reminds me of how I handled the double-headed dragonborn yesterday. Part of it's just like, I don't want to say a confidence issue, but kind of. It's like I kind of muddy around and hem and haw and design choices, and then once I'm like, okay, I'm happy with them, it comes together really quick. All right, we are just about over or finished with the Tavern Keeper's Craft. That's the main meat and potatoes of the stream. I'll be taking a brief break and then we move on to happy hour. I'm not sure what I'm working on for happy hour today, but I'm feeling plenty happy, so I'll pick something fun for us. When I have new students, I really like to encourage them to watch some of my live streams to emphasize the point that the details are just not the appeal of the model. When, you know, like a non-artist looks at this, like, oh, I love like the fabric folds and this and this and that. That's like the icing on the cake. Nobody's favorite part of cake is the icing. I know someone's gonna disagree, but most people, what makes it a cake is like, you know, the main substance of it, the spongy, you know, actual cake of it. Not the icing, not the strawberries on top, whatever decorations you want. So just keep that in mind. It's really worth taking all the time in the world to really define your shapes and then detail and improve upon those. It's easy to get lost in the finicky details, but they don't make the model what it is. And that goes for really all art forms. I read something a while ago. I don't know if it's true, so I probably shouldn't repeat it, but I'm going to anyway. Essentially, it's that your eye and your brain, the way that we process information is in large shapes first. So we literally process things in terms like primary, secondary, tertiary forms. So the first thing you notice is like silhouette, the outline of something. And then your brain starts to break down those other pieces. And that's another reason why I really harp on big shapes and big components first before you dig into the details. I'm really crazy about like fact checking and spreading information that it's got to be true. I don't mind being wrong or like going back on something that I said with new information later, but usually I'm better about citing like where I read that from. I don't remember. All right, I want these fabric folds to be more layered. Come on, be more interesting. That's better. Just striking in some big pipe folds, really simple, really quick and dirty. And then doing the same thing, kind of, to the edge here. I don't really know how I want this to read, so I'm just gonna put something there for your paintbrush to catch on. Little paint catchers. Don't know what your purpose is. I will decide later. Looking pretty awesome, if I do say so. Hindsight, icing is the worst. Thank you. Mini Blaze is commenting on the boots. Girl, really? You can barely even see them. Boom, they're not even there. I'm not gonna comment on your Arabian, the Norse boots. No. Hindsight, I like this so much more than Thor. He just seems to have so much more character. He vibes with me a lot more. I understand this character more. Thor does not connect with me. I'm just big dude with a hammer. Yeah, this is why I like more detail in the bases. Same. Just Lingual says facial recognition is the same. Head shape, then large features, then small features. Okay, cool. So there's some truth to that. Very good. Hindsight says, this is true, Mia. Think of it from a biological standpoint. A, our one advantage physiologically is that we are bipedal, giving us a higher vantage point than most creatures. That's true. That's true. Mini Blaze is going on a tear, guys. Nope. Calm down. I don't have to do anything. Hindsight, but the real thing there is that it allowed us to scan the horizon for threats and prey, which is why we recognize silhouette and shape first. Oh, that's really cool. It makes a lot of sense. I know I read that somewhere recently too. There's lots of things to read out there, so, you know. I like to fact check as much as I can. Do my due diligence, especially before I spread the information. All right. Hoods are tricky because you can't get too, what's the word? You need to be 3D printable. You can't add too much volume with it without adding chunky, but if it's too thin, like a real hood, it's not going to print. So you gotta kind of play that game with it. This is looking really good. Oh, this is so fun. I've also loosened up a lot with it too. You know, I'm always improving as an artist, and like, art involves so many mind games. And I was like talking to my husband about this last night, where I'm like, I'm feeling really locked up on stream sometimes. But it's not even just a live stream. It's like, you guys will say things that I'm already thinking about, and then I kind of like echo chambers in my head, and then I end up not getting anything done. And it'd be very clear, this has nothing to do with you guys and like being your fault or anything like that. It's just like, okay, clear-headed, focus on what you want to get done in that moment, and then execute, you know? Plan, execute. It's easy to get kind of lost in the weeds when it comes to art. So it's been a really good practice for me to stream and talk with you guys while also navigating my own like artistic decisions at the same time. It's definitely kind of like a trial by fire a little bit, like improvement art-wise, and it's fun. It is. By nature, I don't know if you guys can tell, I take things very seriously. I take myself pretty seriously. I know you're not supposed to, just like, oh, like be lighthearted. But I've always been like that. I go through like great pains to make sure that I'm being thoughtful and not like stepping on people's toes and that kind of thing. Kind of people pleaser-esque, but not, it's a bit more than that. So live streaming is a really, really good challenge for me to kind of like carve out my artistic space and voice still, amongst all of the noise being your guys' input and my own. Because there's a lot of good input hidden in there too. I need references for this stupid HUD folds, but I'm just like, okay, this is the point where all the folds are gonna fall from. I'm just pulling from that point. I haven't decided how much I'm gonna detail the hood or add runic trim, all kinds of stuff. I have some other ideas cooking in my head as I am giving this philosophical insight to my brain. I'm gonna turn on transparency and see how is this even sitting on his head. It's doing pretty good. Needs to be a little more straight right here, because you know, gravity. Straight, straight. All right, that has been improved. I'm going to leave it alone for a bit. I do want it to be a little more spiky and worn, and by spiky I mean more like torn up. But I'll deal with that later. There we go. Very cool. Mini Blaze, is it time for anarchy amongst the peasants yet? No, you're being so good. Hindsight, it's my biggest artistic flaw, getting lost in the sauce, right? It's tricky. Just Lingual says, I found 10 general sources for your idea, so you're good to go. Now we can make mistakes and focus on the details first and purposely do it suboptimally. That sounds like a brain. All right. And then Wolf's here. Hello, I'm back. Rough day so far. Sorry to hear that. We're having a good time over here, so you're welcome to be part of the vibes. Have a good time with us. All right. Mini Blaze, I'm curious. Do you sometimes feel like you're herding cats with us in chat? Sometimes, but then I realize it is a circus and you are my monkeys. So it's not my circus, not my monkeys, but a little bit. Like I can just walk away. It's the internet. You guys are pretty much just like in a padded room. I can just focus on my art if I ever feel that way. But the urge to herd you guys together, I do have it every now and then. And it does feel like herding cats. Hindsight, don't make me get my biting teeth out. Monkey, did someone say anarchy? No, we're good. Wolf says, my artistic flaw is not having energy to do art. Rest. Then don't be mean to yourself about it. Rest. Eat something good. I'm gonna eat a bunch of chili probably during my break here. Hindsight, oh, good one. That's not my flaw. That's just my life. You guys are killing me. Sending good vibes your way. Yeah, at the very least, you're feeling too tired to create, all the more reason, you know? Get a warm drink, kick back, watch the stream, just let your kind of like creative juices recharge and just be kind to yourself as much as you can. I know it's hard to do, but something that I always remind myself is like, just because you're having thoughts doesn't mean you have to do anything with them. You are not your thoughts. You can choose to engage or to not engage. Doesn't mean it's not gonna make you feel bad first, but every now and then I'll think something that's really critical of myself or my art, and I'll be like, I'm gonna take that thought and put you in the trash. I'm gonna replace that with a nicer thought that I intentionally made of. What did you decide about the eye patch? No eye patch, just eye hole. Just Lingual says, we can plan our anarchy and rebellion when she's on break. Oh, thank you. I feel that's so thoughtful of you. All right, let's get a fun render on here. Hindsight. She decided to listen to me. Mr. Burns finger tap. Oh my goodness, I have not seen The Simpsons in so long. Oh, Wolf shared something cool. Oh, it's an eye patch, but with Idrisil on it. That's pretty awesome. If I am gonna do an eye patch, that's what I would do. That is awesome. Yeah, Mini Blaze also loves the one that was shared in references. That's fantastic. Wolf, I especially appreciate you sharing references if you're not feeling very creatively charged right now, so thank you. Yeah, Wolf found a really nice one. I agree. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get a render on here. We made some pretty amazing progress today, and that brings us to the end of, you know, the main meat and potatoes of the stream. All right, time to screenshot, get a nice render here. Smile. Anyways, you know you want to. You can't unsee it. You have to use it. Truthfully, it would just be a lot of work to hand draw that sigil, but it is awesome. I could just rip it from the picture too. I know how to do that in ZBrush. I can turn anything to a stamp. Try putting the raven on the taller stone. You know, it's funny. I was just thinking that, and then I was like, you know, I'll wait till I pose him, decide where that's gonna end up. But yes, I was kind of on the same thought wavelength. And then Hindsight shared a really cool little pouch that I like much better than this bag I put on here. Hindsight's very excited now. Tavern Keeper's Barley and Brew. That is a really, really, really cute. I like that. Well, freehand the symbol. Well, yeah, you know I can. Leave it for the painter. Oh, that's savage. I won't do that to you guys. Though you probably could do it. That shared brain cell again. No kidding. All right, you guys have been a delight, like usual. Been trying to figure out alternatives for my brain to Tavern Keeper's craft that also fits with meat and potatoes. Yeah, that's how I describe it every time. So that'd be fun to say barley and brew. Yeah, something that's like main eventy. I'm definitely open to the name. It's gotta have a ring to it. And I am the Tavern Keeper of my peasants and cats. Peasant cats. Does that mean that the tavern is just like a cat cafe, essentially? If I refer to you guys all as cats. Oh, goodness. All right, we have just hit the 2-hour mark. I'm gonna go ahead and go on my break. I'll be back by 2:30 at the absolute latest. I'll say 20. I usually return a little bit early, just a heads up. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. It is an absolute blast. I love what I do. I really do. Man. I had something else to say there, but then I just was replaced by good warm feelings, so I'll just let that be a thing. Well, kick back, relax on the break, guys. Get something nice to drink or a treat, especially you, Wolf, having a hard day. I don't know. Do something that makes yourself feel better. If not, like deep breaths at the very least. And I'll be back in about 20 minutes, okay? Bye. Hello, I'm back a bit early, per usual. For today's happy hour, I'm going to work on what I wanted to finish yesterday, but didn't. A little bit of housekeeping where I'm going to clean up my asset libraries. So it's going to be a little more chill. I'm going to let y'all just talk amongst yourselves. If you're new here, don't be shy. Feel free to ask questions, join our Discord, all that good stuff. But just kind of kick back, relax, and I'm going to do some organizing here. These are all the different tools I use to create all my characters quickly. It's kind of like a kit bashing effect. So for example, these are all my heads, collars, hairstyles, that kind of thing. I do this organization process probably, I would say once every few months. It doesn't really happen very often. That's why I meant to get it done yesterday, but we were having a really good discussion and it totally sidetracked me yesterday. Please move over. There you go. Perfect. And then part of this maintenance is also making sure that nothing is getting too high poly or bogging it down. Hey Loa, hello, hello. So you'll see I'm kind of just clicking through here, looking at anything that's higher poly than it needs to be, like this piece here, and simplifying it up. The whole subtool right now is 4.3 million points, which is really on the high side, and we don't need that many. So I'm gonna auto group these and get it all buttoned up. As I keep making models over the years, I learn how much I can get away with, so to speak, and this is definitely a reflection of that. Some of these are better optimized than others. Because I'm designed for 3D printing, it doesn't need to be optimized in the sense of like rig ready or like animation ready, which requires a very different set of rules for topology. But having clean topology makes it much easier to iterate and make new things on. Although says, sorry, I just woke up. Yeah, no worry. Of course, I hope you had a very good sleep. Yeah, like this head shape here, I'm sure at one point I was like, oh, what a nice Mind Flayer head. My skill set is way past that now, so I'm going to delete it. This, on the other hand, I'm really happy with. Really clean, basic quad topology, nice and smooth to work with. I created that when I was designing Anubis, Egyptian god. Yeah, like this does not need to be 200,000 points. That is really silly. Let's try 55. Oh, someone new is here. Empress. Tiramisu. Oh, I love that. Tiramisu is delicious, and I like that rhymes. Welcome, Empress. Do you keep a backlog of base meshes and work from those for new projects? Yes, exactly. So I have some body base meshes. If I go over here into my project file, go to desktop, ZBrush stuff, and I have my Mia asset library. Mia is me. And then under body bases, you can see all these different bases I have to start with that I've sculpted over the years. So I'm primarily a fantasy artist, so it's a lot of like catfolk, centaurs, all that kind of stuff. Great question though. So this is happy hour. It's kind of a different part of my stream. Usually I make a couple assets from scratch, but it's time to dig through and reorganize my asset library, so that's what I'm doing right now. Some of the poly count on these are a lot higher than they need to be. This entire project file is about 4 million points, so I'm trying to lower that before I add too much more into it. ZBrush can handle it just fine, but I try to keep things buttoned up. Another thing that I do is as my skill set improves, I come through my asset library and I delete things that are kind of below my current skill level. It forces me to recreate these with my new skill set. And it's also just good practice. I can definitely tell what's new and what's old and hasn't been used in a long time. So you'll notice I'm going to be deleting quite a few pieces right now. Something cool is that every single asset you see here was not just created on a whim. They all belong to a character, and that's why they exist in the first place. I used to be able to point to any one of these models and tell you where it came from. I can't quite do that anymore. I've made almost 1,000 models, if not over 1,000 now, so I have started to lose track. All right, I'm pretty happy with this. We're gonna save this. This is my hair, headgear, and heads project, replacing this tool, and now we're gonna see how many I have in my organized folder to put in here. Hey, Mark's here. Hi, Mark, welcome back. Are there people out there that sell their assets to others? Oh yes, a ton. Tons of people do that. Mini Blaze, you know, I'm gonna tell you need more folders, Mia. Well, funny you should say that. I have 0 folders, so any folders would be an improvement. Mark, Hindsight, can you recommend websites to find them? You asked Hindsight, but I'm gonna answer anyway. As far as asset libraries go, how about one that's free? Hard to beat that. If you want assets just to start from, here is the base mesh. Bam. You can also go to CG Trader. So the first one is free. CG Trader is another. That's a bit higher end. If you want to go even higher end than that, you can go to Turbo Squid. Hindsight. Thank you, Mia, because I have nothing for that. Yeah, don't you worry. I got you. All right, Turbo Squid, for some reason, the link will not let me share it. Is Turbo Squid still a thing? It sure is. I can't even put the link in anymore because for some reason, YouTube is throwing a fit. No big deal. But those are 2 to start with. Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, Mark, why do you want to buy individual assets? I'm just kind of curious. All right, going to my downloads. Let's get some more pieces together. Yeah, I can do better than this braided hairstyle. Let's go ahead and delete it. That way it'll force me to make a new and better one. The rest of these look pretty good. Mostly happy with them. This especially, that one came out really nice. Look how clean that is. Mark says, thank you, everyone. Of course, you're very welcome. All right, this looks great. I'm gonna duplicate this hairstyle, and then to add in old projects, I'll go to Tool, Import. Then I have this folder on my desktop just called Organize, and I throw stuff in there as I'm working on other projects to then resort into my asset libraries later. Mini Bly says, I can see why. It's nice to have a place to start from when you're learning to do it yourself. I can see that. Mark says, I thought while I'm learning it might save me time to combine pieces or parts, some of mine, some from others. It could. I would be very careful with that though. I really would. It kind of becomes a crutch. I really recommend instead like buckling down on the fundamentals and like, I'm gonna make a hat today, right? And make one hat every day for 5 days in a row. Give yourself 15 minutes each. Like, don't kill yourself over it. You're gonna improve so much more than any money you would have wasted on paying for assets. Again, I'm not saying that all assets paying for are a waste, but if you're doing it with intent of learning, just having a 3D asset to see isn't really gonna help you that much. You might as well look at references, or even better, find stuff in real life. Be like, I'm gonna model this cup. You have it in real life, you can look at it. It's your own very 3D asset to work from. I really recommend that more than getting prepaid assets online. Hindsight, you run into conflicting styles too. Yes, exactly. I do have a mentorship program. If you want someone to guide you, I would love to teach you. Yeah, take the money he'd spent on that and buy me his mentorship instead. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. It's going to go a lot better. Some of the assets like on CG Trader, you're looking at like $50 for a couch. You know what I mean? All right. Hair, fancy beard. Ooh, this is the beard I made for Thor. I'm excited to have this in here because it looks quite nice. Man, it's a nice little improvement. I'm gonna add another one, another Viking one I have here. I also have this like Viking faux hawk kind of thing going on. Pretty happy with it. Oh, and that actually includes the beard. That's even better. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this other piece. The fact that I kept the eyebrows on it is very funny. I don't normally do that. I'm gonna leave it as is because I think it's fun. Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. Mark says, you say that you want to teach me now until you see how clueless I am. Oh my, just kidding, a little. Most of my students, I think it's like 87% of all my new students, have never touched a 3D program before. So don't you worry, just the fact that you know what a base mesh is, you're already ahead. I've also taught quite a few like kids. So I've gotten a lot better at simplifying things so that like a 13-year-old or like 10-year-old could digest them too. So don't you worry, I am, when it comes to art, super patient. I kind of find it like a little challenge to keep rewording things in a way that's coherent. I've actually joked that I'm like, if you need me to teach you ZBrush in terms of apples and oranges, I can do it. It might take me a little longer, but I can find a way to communicate with you that's going to make sense. It only works because I'm really passionate about communication in general, and I happen to like art a lot, so that's a fun one for me. Taylor's here. Hi, welcome back. I like to experiment with modeling, the most mundane kind of objects, tableware, furniture. It helps you recognize just how complex and beautiful the world is, and always was. Man, you've been gone for a little bit, and then you come back and you drop that bit of wisdom. I love that. That is a very, very beautiful sentiment to share. Speaking of Taylor, how have you been? Did you think more about what you asked me about, like, you know, finding your style and your voice in art? And I kind of mentioned like becoming like your own biggest cheerleader. I'm curious if you thought on that a bit more and had anything else to add. Mini Blaze says, Mark, we all start in our own way. We even get overwhelmed when we launch ZBrush. Absolutely. That's why one of my biggest assignments for my students is just to open ZBrush every day. Don't sculpt anything. Just sit down, open the program, good job. Close it, go away. Do that every single day for a month. You'll establish a habit and it will really, it takes away kind of like the blank page syndrome. Have you guys heard of that before? If you haven't, I can elaborate. All right, I know I have more hairstyles. Don't hide from me. There you are. Low ponytail alt. What is that? We're gonna find out. I also have some gesture hats in here. Jester. Hey, Mini Blaze has a great suggestion. Make a rock. Honestly, way harder than you think. I still struggle at making detailed rocks. Rocks are cool. It's like, do you want like igneous rock? Sedimentary rock? There's all kinds of different rocks. But seriously though, that would be a great project. The trick with art, I say it all the time, creating art is such a mind game. You really have to keep your expectations in line, and expectations is everything. So Aloha's in the chat right now. Aloha is one of my students, and she recently started project work. Congrats to Aloha. And she's working on a dragon. And like the first thing I did was like, very cool. All right, before like we even start sculpting, expectations of what this is gonna look like. And she's awesome. So it wasn't very hard for her to have like healthy expectations, but it's important to review those. There's a fun jester hat. How's the topology looking on that? Pretty janky, but I don't imagine I'd be changing that up too much. Hindsight says, Mia, spoken like a true art nerd. Yes. I am what I am. I'm doing a much better job of actually getting stuff done while talking to you guys. Yesterday I got really sidetracked. I kind of had full brain yesterday. I had a hard time focusing. It happens. There, I have 2 different hats. One's detailed, one's not. We'll see what I want. Minnie Blaze says, I saw a video of a guy trying to teach himself. He went on about playing with ZBrush and feeling lost. Then he said, decided to make a rock. Second day, say studied that, and then he made a rock. There you go, just keep on going. I think through the story, he must have made half a dozen rocks before he got to other projects. I love that because it's just getting in the habit of creating. It's deeply important. Mark asks, what do you think about these programs like Meshy? They describe something in text and makes it for you. Do you think that'll catch on or just a fad, gimmicky thing? Oh no, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be the same thing we have like Midjourney for 2D art. AI generated 3D art will absolutely be a thing, 100%. And if that's your goal, just have like placeholders for stuff, that's totally fine. I don't mind. For me, it would never work because I have a very specific vision and exploring that is part of the fun. I could see using AI 3D generators as like a tool so I can like iterate a bunch of hats and be like, ah, yes, I want to combine that shape and that shape. But the reality is I'm always going to create my own stuff. It would just become a tool. Wolf says, if I was a commissioned artist and they asked me to do a rock, I would have them give me a mood board. Oh, I'm a huge fan of that. I've asked a lot of clients of mine to give me mood boards and stuff like that. All right, I'm looking for any more hairstyles tucked in here. I think we are set. Really good discussion in the chat, like always. Appreciate y'all. I have a question for you guys. And I don't really have the answer, so I'm looking forward to it. What is it about art that is so intimidating? I mentioned like that blank page syndrome. What is it that makes you sit there and look at ZBrush or look at a blank page with your pen and be like, you freeze up and like you can't, like, are you afraid of making a mistake? Are you afraid of making bad art, looking stupid? Or you just don't want to waste your time with not being good, you know? What is it for you that's your biggest roadblock to making art? Is it just an energy thing? It sounds like y'all need a nap and a snack. Don't we all? Empress said, how long did it take you to get proficient with 3D art? I just started my journey and I'm trying so hard to understand anatomy. Oh my goodness. I feel for you because what you said really struck a chord with me. I'll break down your comment. 1, I've been doing this for 6 years. My first 3D model of all time was in 2019. I was at the very end of pursuing my bachelor's in mechanical engineering, which I did get. And I never had any secret ambitions of being an artist. It kind of just fell together. I opened a Patreon, it took off, and it paid for my bills. And so I've been doing it ever since, and I've really developed a huge love for it. But I was proficiently making models full time within 2 years of making my very, very first model. Everyone's journey is different. I did it every single day for hours, so I improved a lot. I didn't burn out because I had very healthy expectations of how to progress. You've started your journey and you're trying so hard to understand anatomy. That reminds me, what can I say? That's like a toddler going into a kitchen and grabbing a spoon and hitting the counter and not understand why there's not cookies. Like, you are in the right place. You are trying to make a dessert. You have an idea, but it's way too big of a topic and you do not have the tools of understanding to do it. So, good effort, valiant goal, but it doesn't make any sense. You have to boil it way down. So if I was dealing with like this kid in the kitchen wanting to make cookies, I wouldn't give them a spoon. I would show them, okay, here are your ingredients. You need flour, you need chocolate chips, that kind of stuff. That's where you need to start. You need to find the ingredients of anatomy, which is shape language. You need to learn silhouette, how to recognize primary forms. So when I look at this like head right here, right? You can look at this and most people will look at this and immediately think, okay, I'm gonna sculpt this guy. So I'm gonna find the tiny little details of his ear ridge and his nose. No, that's not how you learn anatomy and basics. Let me screenshot this. You need to start with basics, which is really the hard part. All right, so we have this. What's actually happening here? You need to be able to break it down into, it's a circle that is connected to a cylinder. Get really comfortable with these kind of shapes, and then you can start worrying about fine details and like what anatomy is going to be. All right, we have this, and this is another cylinder. All right, see, I already kind of tapered that too much. Don't do that. Be really, really specific and simple with your shapes and your primitives. And then you can take this knowledge of primitives that you now have to start tackling like an arm, right? That's really where it's at. I hope that kind of makes some more sense. Wolf says, Mia, I can't sit down and need, I lay down a lot as my job is 8 hours at a time. I need to find a way to get good energy, not just artificial energy. That's a very good point. I usually recommend to just take smaller bites. Don't be disappointed if you can't sit down and paint for hours. Try to work up 5 minutes at a time. But usually if you have artificial energy, maybe you have some other issues like you're feeling anxious or driven by things that aren't good motivators. So yeah, good question though. I hope that helped. That was a big topic there that I'm trying to break this down into fundamentals. Just, again, it really just reminds me of like a kid trying to bake or someone walking into a college and be like, I want to learn math. I'm like, math? Geometry? Calculus? Like, that's what anatomy is. It's too big of a topic. Taylor says, I think what frightens me about art is the dislike of making something of poor quality because I'm confident I'm able to make art I love. As such, it can be very uncomfortable when it's not there yet. I think that's very well put, and everyone's heard that phrase of like trust the process, but it's so much easier said than done. The real trick here is if you guys can fall in love, and I mean this, truly fall in love with the process and making bad art and accepting that, you're gonna unlock something in your brain that you've never been able to enjoy before. It's so easy to get, fall in love with the finished product, where you're like, again, I keep saying bakery stuff because I'm really hungry, but like you finish a pie and you eat it, that's great. You need to fall in love with rolling the dough. You need to fall in love with laying out all your ingredients. If you fall in love with that process, the rest of it will really come, much more naturally and much more permanently. Because everyone has swells in creativity and results. So the problem with your skill set elevating now to where you're there, right, is you're gonna always be improving. You're gonna have more complicated ideas you want to express, and suddenly you're not there yet anymore, and I gotta wait again. So it's like the perpetual cycle of being frustrated with yourself. I want to be very clear that a lot of the advice that I'm giving right now, it is stuff that I practice daily. Like, I'm not ever there yet either. This is stuff that I'm trying to facilitate in my own work still. Bren says, hi Mia, welcome back Bren. I'm intermediate in ZBrush. Will the mentorship also help with making miniatures faster from base mesh and how to go full time? Oh yeah. Yep. I've had 3 students go full time at this point, and as far as I know, they're all still doing it. So that is also what I do. I'm not going to be able to give you a bulletproof social media strategy because that's not what I do. But I can give you guidelines on how to price your projects, how to sell stuff, how to lay out nice graphics. But the big one is I can absolutely speed up your time process, 100%. A reminder that my background is in mechanical engineering. Problem solving is what I do. Efficiency management is what I do best. So I could absolutely help you. Foxy says, I find blank page syndrome is something I have to get past often. The way I always do is I just start. Absolutely. I usually will, if I'm sketching with a pen and pencil, I will draw a smiley face every time. I can't handle a blank page, so I will sketch out a little funny face or a little funny cat, and then I will draw on top of it. If I share any sketches of my dragons in the Discord, if you guys look, you will be able to find these little cat faces somewhere under the eraser marks, and I find it helps immensely. A lot of good questions right now. Thank you. A lot of really good discussion too. I appreciate you guys being kind to each other because it's easy to make stuff sound simple where it's like, oh, you love art? Then just make art more. It's like if it was that easy, we would all do it, Just never underestimate the power of establishing a habit. I have something I use. It's a habit tracker. It literally is just a bunch of boxes, and I click on the box when I have done my habit. I have like teeth care and skin care on here. I have really weak teeth, They're pretty, but I have to floss every single day, otherwise I have gum issues. I never needed braces, but like my teeth suck. So I have to make it a habit because I hate brushing for a full 2 minutes and flossing every single day. I mean, do you guys all really seriously do that? Let's be honest. But anyway, you make it a habit. I have an app here. You can click on a little box every day. It's visual and helps me a lot. Find what works for you to establish a good habit, and it might change your life. Where's my rock tower? There it is. Empress says, no one has ever put anatomy like that. So many people have tutorials and courses, but they do not start from 101. They just assume you're some sophomore, junior, right? Oh my God, guys, when I tell you, when I was trying to teach myself ZBrush, I would watch these tutorials and cry because I'd be so frustrated. I'd feel so stupid. Like, they were so far ahead where I was. And I couldn't find anyone that would tell me how to save my file. So do you want to hear a sad story? It's sad story time. I didn't know anything, right? So when I had ZBrush, I'd make these projects I was proud of, and I would click document, save as. Because why would I not? Document saves a picture of your file. So all of these models I made in the beginning, I didn't even have them anymore. They didn't even exist anymore. You have to go to File Save As. That's the only way to save your projects other than like Tool Save As. But Document just saves a picture. But no one told me that in these beginner-friendly tutorials. So I had all this work that was gone forever. And even though it wasn't very good, I was devastated, you know? I was so proud of my like beginning work, you know? That's why in my mentorship program, the first thing I teach you guys is UI and navigation. I teach you how to rotate, how to pan the screen, how to zoom in and zoom out. That's where I start my students, because assuming you know how to do that already is ridiculous. I wouldn't assume a beginner knows how to do that. That's the whole point of what a beginner is, you know? Empress says, also my manners. Hello. I only just recently stumbled upon this channel in my journey to find anything education to help. Yeah, well, you found the right place. I love to teach. If you ask questions like this, I'm totally happy to answer just during my live streams. If you need more help, check out my Patreon. It's $30 a month, and I provide one-on-one mentorship. It's a good time. All right, Aloha also mentions about her experience with me. She's one of my students. My first few assignments, me and Mia went over the mental side of things rather than technical aspects, as I already had a decent level to build from, and she just made me comfy with the art of creating. It gives me chills, you know, that's exactly what I want to do. And I'm not perfect, I'm still learning how to teach as well. And because I'm open to that, I find my students progress really quickly. Because I've had students that straight up were like, I don't think I'm getting the help that I need. Can you help me reach this goal? And I'm like, heck yeah, I can. And I will revise and we'll learn and we grow together. That's a huge part of how I teach. Painted straps with book. Yes, here we go. There we are. And I also want to be fair here. Even though I do this full time, and my husband and I do it together, but I'm the 3D artist, I was able to do this partly, there's always some luck involved when it comes to an art business taking off. So I want to be very, very clear that I don't have any secrets, but sometimes there isn't a secret to it. It's like people find you, they connect with you, and it kind of takes off from there. Just don't give up. You just have to keep doing it. But I can definitely stop you guys from pitfalls of selling your work if you're way overpriced or way underpriced. I know how to help with stuff like that. But I definitely don't have the answers of post twice a day on Instagram at 2 p.m. and you'll be a millionaire by Friday. I have no idea. But I am learning, and if I figure out the answer, I'll tell you. Taylor said, ZBrush beginner-friendly tutorials tend to be quite bad for some reason. Right, I feel it. Hindsight says, it's the only Patreon I'm a member of. That makes me happy. I didn't know that you officially joined my main Patreon, Hindsight. I feel like I should know that. Are you a legendary patron? Have you submitted a request yet? You've got to submit a request. That'd be so cool. Yeah, and the cost is a pretty big barrier to entry. ZBrush recently, it was bought by Maxon, and they had a version called ZBrush Core, which was only $10 a month instead of $40. And they disappeared it like a month ago. They said they're gonna bring it back. I roll my eyes really hard because it makes me want to learn Blender just so I can teach you guys. I've seriously considered that. I'm so annoyed that ZBrush is so expensive. It's not that I don't think it's worth it, there should be a free hobbyist version, you know what I mean? Empress said, I hope to have ZBrush, currently rocking with Blender, and still not good at that. I realistically want to be able to confidently apply to indie studios or start my own projects in like 6 to 8 months. That's absolutely doable, and that's a good, clear goal. I wish you the best of luck. Keep going. Keep coming back here, asking questions. It's a good time. Aloha says, also, Mia is kind enough to take time to read through my ramblings. Of course, I read fast. Doesn't bother me at all. And there's usually quite a bit of heartfelt tokens of wisdom in your assignments, Aloha. The amount of, words you put into your assignments help me because you tend to highlight what helped you the most of the assignment, and it makes me a better teacher. Pretty much every time a student submits work to me, I go through and I edit my assignment for the next student, so that way it gets a little stronger and a little better. It's an endless process of iteration. Wolf says, I have a cheap version of ZBrush, but I totally agree with Mia. Yeah, thank you. I'm just so sad that ZBrush Core is gone for now. Yep, not anymore, they don't. Sad. If it ever comes back, I'll tell you guys all about it. Minnie Blaze says, I think that this group is really good about trying to help each other. I had a good muscle lesson yesterday while Mia did design. Thanks to hindsight, that was awesome. Emperor says, $33 on ZBrush plus 100 on Substance, Steam version alone, is a pocket herder. Yeah, no, it really is. I would hold off on Substance Painter until you're more comfortable just making meshes in general. Texturing and rigging and all these other things are stuff that you can explore in free programs like Blender, and you don't need to pay for quite yet. But I'm glad you even know what those projects are. Oh, here's my Raven base mesh. I was looking for you earlier, and I didn't know where you were. I found it, guys. What an improvement this base mesh is. Don't mind that there's 4 wings. I just have it so I can quickly hide wings. There you go. And have 2 different birds. Nice and quick. All right, that kind of concludes happy hour. I got a lot more of my assets organized. Usually happy hour, I create something from scratch. But I had some busy work I need to get done today. Tomorrow, we should be back to our normal. Thanks for bearing with me. But that moves us into the last part of our stream. This is officially last call. If you have any questions about my work, continue to facilitate the conversation, please ask. Alrighty. Let me kind of review what we worked on today. One of the first things we did today is we looked at Thor and the new poses that were made in Character Creator 4. Don't mind the fact that he has turned into a ghost body. I don't really know what's up with that. I lost my poly paint in Character Creator 4. Not a big deal because these are all designed for 3D printing, so they're not going to have color anyway. I color them just for fun. But yeah, here was our base mesh of Thor. He came out really nice. And then we have 2 different poses for him. Here's our action, or casual. And then we have our other one. Where are you? There he is. Turned out pretty cool. I'm really happy with this. Also, a reminder, if you're enjoying this stream, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out, and then it's easier for y'all to find me in the future. I do stream darn near every day, so it won't be that hard to find me, but it'd still help you out to find me again in the future. Alright, so there's Thor, and then we went ahead and we worked on Odin today. The reason why I made these models is because they were requested on Patreon. So on Patreon, that's where I share all my 3D printable models. Essentially, people support me by giving me money every month, and they can put in requests, 1 request a month. And what's cool is their request, I work on it and then share it with every other patron I have. So pretty much it's like a big crowd fund of creativity, of ideas for everyone's tabletop games, while everyone gets their unique request done too. It's like a huge upward spiral, like win-win. It's just really fun. But yeah, that's some context on why I'm sculpting Odin and Thor. They were requested. I've also done really crazy stuff. So I worked on Odin today, but yesterday I worked on someone's custom character, which is a 2-headed gem dragonborn. This hasn't been posed yet. I worked on this yesterday. We went from this model here to this beautiful monstrosity in under 2 hours. He is a hot mess. I have not worked on his heads yet. Don't worry about the heads. The rest of it has been worked on though. But yeah, just some ideas of like who I am, how the business works, and what I do. Aloha is asking me about reverb for some characters that are not posed yet. Yeah, I don't have any T poses that I share on Patreon, but I could send them just a couple T poses if they had any preference of things I've worked on in the last month or so. All right, let me skim here. Any other questions? Taylor says, I don't think Blender sculpting is comparable to ZBrush's, at least last that I checked. Yeah, it's not. Yes, very good. We're all on the same page. Good, good, good. All right, let's go back to Odin, because this is technically yesterday's stream. I'm just kind of like touching base on different things. Oh, another thing is the Eldritch Foxfolk. We now have some fun poses for her as well. These haven't been cleaned up yet. They're just fresh out of Character Creator 4. You kind of get the idea of how cool she's looking. Here is that character, but unposed. Pretty nice. Definitely a unique one. Again, this is another one of those custom characters that was requested by a patron of mine. Let's bring Odin back. So today we went from this base mesh here that I've already have saved and worked on, and then created all these assets. It's lacking any of the fine detail, but we have blocked out a lot of important elements and got those ravens in here. So yes, very happy with this. Empress, I see that you joined our Discord. I'm very glad. Happy to have you part of the community. Hello and welcome again. If you're not already in our Discord, please do. We have a lot of good chat going on there. It's very, very artist friendly. There is a self-promo channel, so if you have commissions open or anything like that, please share your work or even collaborate with other artists in there. All right, guys, I think that's a wrap. If you guys have any final questions, feel free to ask. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. That's kind of the plan from here on out. I feel very lucky to have so many like unique and creative requests, because what's interesting is that no character is too niche, I've noticed, to not fit into someone else's campaign. And there's some really cool different interpretations across different campaigns in different pieces. It's pretty nice. Thank you, Aloha. I appreciate the endorsement. Oh, and I'm starting to share a free 3D model every single day. So at this link right here, I will have a new model today. I'm sharing the Angel of Death for free. So if you have a 3D printer, check it out, download the files, and you're golden. All right, guys, take care of yourself, and I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye.